You are many, they are few. And so they are in full panic mode. If we actually read our Constitution, if we actually read the rights that we have been given, if we actually know history, hence why this report, the 1776 report, is so important. Just look at the table of contents. Let's look at the table of contents and think, in retrospect, what we have been doing together. We've been talking about the role of family, how we need to teach America, how we need to remind people of real history, the American mind and how we think, and how important it is to understand laws. So this is the meaning of the Declaration. I don't know if you guys have read this, but I'll read this portion out to you, which is incredible. The United States of America is in most respects a nation like any other. It embraces a people who inhabit a territory governed by laws administered by human beings. Like other countries, our country has borders, resources, industries, cities and towns, farms and factories, homes, schools, and houses of worship. And although a relatively young country, its people have a shared history of common struggle and achievement. From carving communities out of a vast, untamed wilderness, to winning independence and forming a new government through wars, industrialization, waves of immigration, technological progress, and political change. In other respects, however, the United States is unusual. It's a republic. That is to say, its government was designed to be directed by the will of the people rather than the wishes of a single individual or a narrow class of elites. Republicanism is an ancient form of government, but one uncommon throughout history, in part because of its fragility, which has tended to make republics short-lived. Contemporary Americans tend to forget how historically rare republicanism has been, in part because of the success of republicanism in our time, which is derived in no small part from the very example and success of America. In two decisive respects, the United States of America is unique. First, it has a definite birthday, July 4th, 1776. Second, it declares from the moment of its founding, not merely the principles on which its new government will be based, it asserts those principles to be true and universal, applicable to all men and all times, as Lincoln said. Other nations may have birthdays. For instance, what would eventually evolve into the French Republic was born in 1789, when Parisians stormed a hated prison and launched the downfall of the French monarchy and its aristocratic regime. The People's Republic of China was born in 1949, when Mao Zedong, Chinese Communist Party, defeated the nationalists in the Chinese Civil War. But France and China as nations, as peoples and cultures inhabiting specific territories, stretch back centuries, even millennia, over the course of many governments. There was no United States before July 4th, 1776. There was not yet, formally speaking, an American people. There were, instead, living in the 13 British colonies in North America, some 2.5 million subjects of a distant king. Those subjects became a people by declaring themselves such, and then by winning the independence they had asserted as their right. They made that assertion on the basis of principle, not blood or kinship, or what we might call today ethnicity. Yet this fact must be properly understood, as John Jay explained in Federalist 2. Providence has been pleased to give this one connected country to one united people. A people descended from the same ancestors, speaking the same language, professing the same religion, attached to the same principles of government, very similar in their manners and customs, and who by their joint counsels, arms, and efforts, fighting side by side throughout a long and bloody war, have nobly established general liberty and independence. Yet as Jay and all the founders well knew, the newly formed American people were not quite as homogeneous in ancestry, language, or religion as this statement would seem to assert. They were neither wholly English or wholly Protestant nor wholly Christian. Some other basis would have to be found and asserted to bind the new people together, to which they would remain attached if they were to remain a people. That basis was the assertion of universal and eternal principles of justice and political legitimacy. But this too must be qualified. Let me pause here for a second, because this is one of the most important sections of this document. How many times have I said throughout my time speaking to you with my voice that the United States of America is a people that are united under one flag and the principles of this nation and nothing else? It's not hot dogs, it's not popcorn, Cracker Jack, it's not ball games, it's not football, it's not soccer, it's not the Great Wall, it's not a pyramid, it's not a monument. It is one flag. And what that flag stood for: unity built as one. This is what's important for people to understand. This document is telling you what we've been talking about for a very long time. Every other nation has eons of history together. Every other nation has many battles, many wars, empires that have risen and fallen. But America is an infant. And we were united under one flag that stood for principles of liberty and justice for all. That is basically how we were formed. Jay stated all these things, but it wasn't sufficient. This portion of this document is one of the most important ones. It is one of the most amazing reports ever to be created by an administration ever. The role of family, I told you, was destroyed with the creation of Social Security. Our students have been poisoned to not have pride in what the founding principles and why this nation was created in the first place. They're telling you why it was all wrong. Yes, the king deployed people to conquer, to kill, to plunder, just like every other empire does. But it was those that believed in independence of the people. It was that little piece of good that built this nation, not your typical plummet, just rampant takeover of property and wars. Every nation that has been created upon a war. Borders are drawn and redrawn throughout history with blood spilt. Now, going to the reverence for the laws. We spoke about this yesterday and how important it is that you understand that there is no law of this land that cannot be made if you so request it. There are procedures, and we forfeit some of those rights to those that we elect to do our bidding. When they do not do our bidding, we have every right to remove them. This is something people need to understand. This is something people need to adhere to. And remember, the whole world is at war with us. They are praising foreign organizations as leaders and flagships to how we move forward in the future. If it's down to the wire at any time, I would say this is about that time. This is what you should be thinking of right now. This is why it's important, to understand where your limits are, what you are willing to do for your nation, because it is your backyard. And it's not so much, oh, I'm going to grab my weapon and go. That's not, it's 2021. It's unnecessary. The sharpest weapon you have in your arsenal is prayer. That's something they cannot take away from you. And how you resonate. If you believe that you are defeated, you are already defeated. If you believe that the end of the world is here, it is already here. If you believe anything, it comes to realization. We are the most powerful force to be reckoned with. They fear you more than you can even imagine. They fear you. Because once you realize how much power you yield, they know that their days are numbered. The army of people fighting for this nation is massive, and we do not even have to fire a shot. We do not have to make a cut. We do not have to even spill one drop of blood, because we make the laws. We pay the taxes. We dictate everything. Therefore, why do we need to take arms? The biggest arms that we take is yielding the power that we have. We do not have to operate the way they believe we should operate. We operate with the power that was vested in us from the minute you were born into this nation. You are a leader, and that's the way it is. They are nothing. They have no power over you. You are the one that yields the power. And they understand that, and that terrifies them beyond belief. It terrifies them, and it should. Because their days are numbered. And when you realize just how powerful you are, man, the world is going to be on fire. Let's get some coffee quickly.
Republic. I like the sound of the word. Means people can live free, talk free, go or come, buy or sell, be drunk or sober, however they choose. Some words give you a feeling. Republic is one of those words that makes me tight in the throat. Same tightness a man gets when his baby takes his first step, or his first baby shaves and makes his first sound like a man. Some words can give you a feeling that make your heart warm. Republic is one of those words.
Crockett? I have, I believe, learned two things about you.
Worthwhile, I hope.
You're not the illiterate country bumpkin you would have people believe. You speak in excellent and concise English when you wish. The bad grammar is a pose.
Well, a fella has to do a lot of things to get elected to Congress. I've kissed many a baby, too.
The other is that you came to Texas to fight with us.
Don't tell my Tennesseans that. They think we came south to hunt and get drunk.
they seem to have accomplished that.
My country, 'tis of thee, sweet land.